So you want to be a dungeon master?
So, you wanna dungeon master.
So you want to be a DM?
Name some feats, okay? Feats.
So you want to
gonna
be a
take it.
DM?
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're going to be talking all about traps. They've been intertwined with D&D and the hero fantasy stories for a very long time. The entire rogue class was pretty much designed out of the need to have someone in the party who could detect and disarm traps. From dungeon crawls to exploring tombs, from Indiana Jones to the Mummy, traps can be some of the most memorable and exciting parts of the adventure. So, let's get into it. But first, always got to be a but first. Taylor, pick a Disney movie and then turn it into a D&D campaign. What does it look like?
Oh man.
Give me a picture. Dun, dun, dun.
This is me extending my radar to the heavens. Wow. I probably should have read this before the episode.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disney movie to turn into a D&D campaign. Mulan.
Oh, okay. How you gonna do it?
Yeah. Okay. Low magic. I do like the idea of the ancestors, maybe a warlock pact of some sort with Mulan or something along those lines. Even opening that up to all of the characters if they so chose.
Like one of them could be like a
Yeah.
Drake Warden Ranger or whatever, where like
Yeah.
you get a Drake and it's like Mushu, but
Yeah,
he's just
yeah,
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
And
do
then
that.
it's
So-
and then it's kind of a
Are you setting it up so that the
Awesome.
entire party is like joining the military? In
they're
order to
all
fight this great foe?
fresh recruits. And then they could have their own secrets, like all of them.
Yeah.
As they
Like one of
enter
them's a
into-
criminal who's wanted. One of them is,
Right.
leaving behind a debt or something.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I love that idea. That's sick. That's a really good one. Okay, cool.
And then War Simulator 3000. There could be some fun maybe like recon or like sapper missions for the party to do. I think it's not something that's covered explicitly in the movie, but it is stuff that does happen in war where you go and you disable a bunch of supply wagons or something like that, so they can't get supplies down the line. You fuck with the logistics of the war.
Yeah, absolutely. As we well know, because we've been playing Ivory Tower a little bit, and it's you got to think about supply, you got to think about defenses, you got to think about everything. Check it out on Itch Ivory Tower. Anyway, quick plug for Mason. Hey, Mason, you're welcome, bud. Anyway, so for me,
did you also not come up with one after writing the question?
No, I did not come up with one. I genuinely was like, I'll think it. It really what it was is like I can think of 6.
Right.
But some of them it's like the same way with like Mulan, I'm sure like like part of me wants to do like Jungle Book or something, but like I'm also very cognizant of like making sure it's like should I be telling the story of Jungle Book? Maybe that's not my move. But like I do think part of me was thinking, and this kind of is going to go in the face of that. I love the movie Three Caballeros. It's an obscure hit. Donald Duck. Pierre the parrot. And I forget the red chicken's name, but he's from Mexico. And the parrot is from Brazil. And it's these 3 birds, the Tres Caballeros. And it's like an anthology of stories that are being told to Donald. And eventually, like at first it's just Donald and he's like the narrator or like whatever. He's like watching movies and it's like a series of little stories. And then Pierre, I don't even know if his name's Pierre, but the parrot comes in and he joins the party, and then they go do a thing in Brazil, and he like shows Donald Brazil and stuff, and then they do some Brazilian music, and it's a very musical and comedic little movie, but it's kind of a series of things. And so there's a part of me that would like to tackle something like that and do a episodic anthology kind of thing told through this one story, like have you ever seen the movie like Big Fish? I mean, a million things do it this way. Like the movie Big Fish or something where it's like what we're really experiencing, these adventures that the players would be going on are actually just like stories being told about the past to a character. And so there's like, I really like thinking about how I could fuck around with the entire element of D&D where it's like, you're the heroes and it's like, no, you guys are just normal people in a nursing home talking about what happened in the past in your prior adventures. Like now you guys are retired adventurers. And we're experiencing every time we have a combat scene, it's 30 years ago this went down and you saved the village. Like, I don't know. I think that could be really interesting.
I want to revise my answer. I thought
There's
about
so
something.
Many.
There's so many. But another honorable mention, honestly, Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh, yeah.
Are you kidding?
I mean,
kidding?
you gotta
that's
do it.
Awesome.
That's a really, really good one.
You can do anything you want with that.
God, there's so many. Because you could do Lady and the Tramp and do dogs, all dogs.
Right.
Oops, all dogs.
All dogs go to heaven? That's a Disney,
is that Disney? I don't know if it is.
I think it might be DreamWorks.
I don't think it's something else. It's just like Warner Brothers. 1989
rest
film.
your phones.
All
dogs go to heaven.
Goldcrest Films, Sullivan Bluth Studios. Don Bluth. Yeah. I don't think so. And then the next thing that Google's showing me is, does the Bible say that all dogs go to heaven? Anyway, though, but I do think, there's so many Disney movies that could be so funny.
The Five Goes West, American Tail.
Oh, classic. So yeah, it's still a classic era of cartoons, but technically not the same.
Not Disney.
Not Disney. But I do think Lady and the Tramp, Aristocats, if you wanted to go in the other direction, both of those could be really fun. Having the party be animals in a world of animals, humans, kind of like It's a Small World, where like humans were this like weird creature. It would be similar to that, except that you would have much more understanding of them. Because you'd be like, I know of the humans.
right.
But you could decide if you're like a pet, where you're like an Aristocats. There's Duchess and the kids, and they're like, humans are good. This human, at least, like the madam, she's awesome. And then Thomas O'Malley. Thomas O'Malley. I fucking love that guy's voice. The guy, because he also does Baloo in Jungle Book, and he does Lil Jon in Robin Hood. Robin Hood, that's another banger. The music in that one, man. Have you ever, I mean, I bet it's been a minute since you've watched it. Number one, it's fucking sick when you see the scene of the little kids playing with their wooden swords and they say death to tyrants, dude. It pumps you up. Sick. Okay. Patreon plug. Here it comes in 3, 2, 1. Gang, have you heard about the Patreon? You gotta go check it out. There's so many cool things on there. For just $2 a month, we got, not only do you get access to some incredible bonus action episodes from the podcast where Taylor and I are talking about whatever the hell we want to talk about. It's very off the cuff, even though we do technically have outlines, but still, it's silly. Go check it out. It's fun. And you get sneak peeks on like projects we're working on, because we'll work on them during the bonus action episode. So it's really fun to stay up to date. And there's homebrew subclasses, access to different things, and you just, man, it's amazing. Check it out. $2. You can't beat it. Link in the description. Let's get into the meat of the episode.
Let's do it. So what does the Collins Dictionary have to say about traps, Justin?
Taylor, if you think I'm going to take the bait, I know what you did. I see what you wrote here. in the outline. And you want me to make up a joke on the spot about how the Collins Dictionary. Imagine if I just whispered the rest of the episode. You think it's just ASMR the whole time? You think that I'm gonna fall for your trap? Nice try, buddy. Okay. All jokes aside, I did look up trap from the Collins Dictionary and it gave me
Oh, you did?
43 pieces of malware. Yeah, it fucked up my computer for a little bit. I had to run a whole Norton antivirus thing, and I didn't even know Macs could do Norton antivirus. All jokes aside, let's get into traps.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Hell yeah.
Let's-
Okay.
let's talk about it.
So, thank you for obliging me. So, the Dungeon Master's Guide of 2024
Mhm.
in traps section, it's on page 100. They break down traps like this. There are some basic parts to consider. The first is severity and levels. So obviously, this is like your DC. The higher it is, probably the stronger the level is, the higher the level is, right? But there are
Mhm.
also like maybe how severe the damage is, or if there's a spell involved, maybe the level of the spell, right? Like you wouldn't do a
Mhm.
circle of death to like level 1 because that's like
right.
the wrong level. But there's also two sort of types of traps, and this is how they categorize them in the book. Obviously, this is their terminology, whatever. But they call some of them nuisances,
Okay.
right? It's a trap that's unlikely to seriously harm the characters.
Right.
Although it technically can be deadly if you give it to a party that's too low level. And then there are deadly traps where they can grievously damage a character. The intention of the trap is to kill you.
Right.
Like very much so. That's the first part, is just those categories.
How scary is it?
Yeah. Then there's the trigger.
Okay.
Very obvious. What sets the trap off?
Mhm.
Is it when a creature enters an area? Is it when an object is touched, a tripwire, a pressure plate, whatever it may be?
Right.
Then there's the duration. How many rounds? Is it instantaneous? Is it minutes or hours? Some of them last until the trap is dispelled or destroyed. And then there's also just a sub question like, does this trap reset? Right? Like, if it's a crossbow on the wall, like a beautiful figure thing, and it's like carefully set up and it is trapped to like shoot a thing off, it's like, well, once the bolt is gone,
Right.
unless somebody resets it, unless this is Resident Evil 7, like somebody needs to reset it. Otherwise, what are we doing? So those are their three parts. And it's really nice. I like the way that they break it down simply because like it's going to give people an opportunity when they're creating a trap from scratch to look for these three things. I think it's a good building block system, makes it very modular. When you're making a trap, what is the severity of it? What's the DC that they have to try and hit? That can include like a saving throw DC. It can also include the DC to find the trap, to disarm the trap, right? What skills would you allow? So, of course, you can maybe have one or two in mind. Maybe you're more open to it and you'll let players spitball ideas.
Yeah.
I'm the type of DM where like it depends on the situation, like how quote unquote important it is. But I would prefer if players didn't kind of do the thing of being like, I'm really good at persuasion. Can I make a persuasion check? And it's like, how? But if a player somehow was like, okay, here's how I'm going to use persuasion. And then they pitched me a thing and it was actually like feasible and interesting or cool or whatever, then I'd be like, yeah, sure. But when you just are like, hey, this is a good number for me to roll.
Right.
How can I make this one work? And it's like, I'm not doing the work. You do the work. Tell
Yeah,
me how it works.
You tell me. You tell me how that works. Because I'm telling you right now, it don't work. Unless you
Exactly.
can give me a good reason for it to work.
So there's like the DCs, the ability checks that maybe involve saving throws. There's also the amount of damage and like any possible lingering effects. And then there's the trigger. How does this set off? What's going to activate this trap? Is it proximity based? Is it a pressure plate, a tripwire? We'll go over a couple of different ones. Although the book doesn't give you a ton of options. They have some examples and we'll go over those examples because there's not a ton of them and they're all very basic, but it's still good because it'll allow players and dungeon masters who are listening to just alter a couple things and then make it their own.
Yeah.
And then duration and stuff. How long does it fucking basic? So, as a dungeon master, I think there's a couple questions that you should ask yourself and that we're going to talk about. The first is, how many traps do you use and how often? Because we know that if you do them too much, they lose their energy, they lose their like gravitas, and like it starts to almost get a little annoying. I think, like, unless
I do too.
If it was like every door was trapped in the universe, it would be like, what the I'm never going through doors.
Right. Yeah. That's
Like,
the thing. I think that there's a certain level of like social contracts or something along those lines of not doing traps all the time, because I do think that traps, the act of just checking for traps just kind of takes you out of the moment a lot of times. Like if your party feels the need to walk into a room and immediately go, okay, I check for traps, you're using too many traps, I think is kind of a good bellwether of what's going on, because I agree that traps are necessary, but I think they should make sense, and I don't think that they should be overused, because like you were saying too, you lose that gravitas, you lose that oh shit moment when you got traps all the time.
Where they're just expecting the traps. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's some times where just like people who are used to D&D as the system will like, I'm opening a chest, like of course I'm gonna look for traps. Most of the time, unless people are leaning into their characters of like, I'm not checking for traps, which I love sometimes. As long as it doesn't like hurt the party too much. Like when they're like a big enough trap.
Right.
Like that I think is a careful thing to tread as a player. If you're the player who wants to play that character who's like pushes the red button, that's so fun. A lot of DMs will like that. I just know that, and this is true across the board with any kind of play style, you could take it too far. You know what I mean? Like, all right, if you Leroy Jenkins is cool because we only know of that one situation where he did that.
Right.
But if he did it every time, it would be like, Leroy Jenkins, you're banned.
Yeah, there was a certain level of everybody kind of expected it in the Leroy. There was something that wasn't the first time he's done that.
You're right,
but I think you're right, because you are right. If he did it every single time, they would just stop taking him on raids. He's either a really good player, and they either didn't wipe that time, or he carried them the next time. Or he's really funny. I mean, it could just be sometimes you keep the goof around just for sure for a good Friday night, you know?
Exactly. So I do think it is an interesting thing of figuring out how many traps to include. And because I think it also depends on like how you run traps as a dungeon master, because obviously when you're using theater of the mind, you are responsible for whether or not those players even pick up on anything.
Right.
Other than the classic tropes of like the treasure chest might be trapped, like obvious things. The locked door to the boss's fucking office might be trapped, like obvious things. But other than that, if you're just going down a hallway in a dungeon, you can't assume that there's traps 100% of the time. Because then is it like, do players have to be like, I take out my 10-foot pole, classic D&D item, and I tap the ground and I'm tapping the walls, and it's going to take us 5 hours to get through 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, it depends on the dungeon master to describe
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
unless you're
yeah,
using a
yeah.
map. Now, if you're using a map, even there comes a little bit of interesting
It's
discussion because are you using initiative?
right. So, because that's something that I came across with my party in dungeons is that I had to only show them limited sections of the map. Otherwise, the second I would reveal an area of map, they would shoot their characters up to the next section. It's like, hold on, guys. Like, how are you doing this? Are you walking carefully? What
Yeah,
path are you
yeah,
taking? Because like, and I learned very quickly that just pressure plates just they're tough to use. Pressure plates in general, pressure plates and tripwires are in general pretty tough to use as traps unless you're really getting into the nitty-gritty theater of the mind type of situation. Or if it's telegraphed really well, like, oh, there's this really, really long hallway and it looks like there's holes in the walls,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, 100%. You could also just kind of like, okay, you guys get to this really long hallway. Let me have like first of all, not turn order,
Marching order.
marching order. Person in the front, make a perception check, make an investigation, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, the hallway looks clean. And then, go from there.
Right.
I do think that there's a time and a place for like using initiative for traps and like having it be very regimented where the players
Hmm.
move. I've done that in the past where jokingly before we started recording, it called the Trap House. It was like one of the villains, like mini bosses of this campaign, uh, had their personal mansion
Hmm.
riddled with traps. Every door, not to mention they were also casting guards and wards for an
Oh
entire
yeah.
year. So all the effects of guards and wards was active, which means arcane lock on a lot of things, illusory doors and like random phantoms and shadows, like
Hmm.
weird stuff. Then like so many triggers and traps. And if you touch this, this happens. If you walk in front of this, this happens. These stairs, this happens. Like all this stuff. Um, and for me, it was a resource drain. But in that case, I did have you guys roll initiative
Yeah. And I think
because
that was the
there
right
were
call.
just too many triggers.
Hmm.
So that was why that was done that way, and like I know that there are some traps that are done that way
Hmm.
where it kind of wants you to roll initiative because maybe the trap resets on a certain initiative order
Right.
where it's almost like a lair action.
Hmm.
But
Um, yeah.
yeah.
And so that kind of goes back to like the traps should make sense. So that kind of goes to who laid the traps in the first place. Like
Hmm.
this house that we went to was super heavily trapped with these weird magical traps with all these crazy triggers and all this stuff because this guy was a super high level sorcerer bard or
Yeah.
bard type that like he lives and breathes magic and has
And
lived and
he's
breathed magic for forever.
and he's a notorious con man, so he
Right.
has lots of enemies
And he owns a magic item shop or a chain of magic item shops. It was like a whole thing.
with
So it
like
made
counterfeit
super,
goods. Yeah.
yeah, it made super a lot of sense for him to have all of these weird trap things. Now, if you're just going into like the lair of like a purple worm or something like that, it wouldn't make sense for
Mm,
those
great
traps
point.
to be in that area.
Yeah, 1,000,000% because the purple worm doesn't have the intelligence to create traps like that. Like
Right.
their tunnels don't have doors. Yeah, it's an incredible point. Going back to like our episode on dungeons and just kind of like when you think about who made the dungeon or who makes the traps, that can help not only decide like what type of trap and like but also like what it looks like, what
Hmm.
kind of damage it might do. Like maybe if you go like stereotypical D&D goblins, like maybe they use some kind of acid trap. Like I could
Right.
see a group of goblins doing the like bucket of water on the top of the door. You can't see, but I'm pointing at a door.
Yeah.
I realize my door is off camera. Um, but it's acid.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Uh,
It's hilarious.
and
Acid on
also
the
like,
door. It's hilarious.
why are they putting those traps there?
Right.
Like, why are these traps here? What are they guarding? What are they protecting things from? What are they trying to keep out or keep in? Um, and like the style of trap that they've created, right? Like,
Hmm.
how mechanical must you be in order to create a hallway full of rotating scythes and like guillotines. Like you have
Right,
to be
right,
like
right.
fairly technical to be able to set that shit up, right? Like that's crazy to do that.
Hmm.
Or you have to
Hmm.
be magical in order to make this thing happen or have glyph of wardings and stuff like that,
Right.
which I can't wait to get into because there's a trap that is on the examples from the DMG and
Hmm.
one of them uses like a glyph or a rune, and I'm curious when we get there to talk about it because it underwhelmed me in a very specific way and I'm excited to go over it.
Fair enough. All right.
Another thing to think about is just, and we've kind of already been talking about it so much, but how we're presenting maps or excuse me, traps,
Hmm.
they rhyme, uh, the descriptions, maps, how you're doing all of that kind of stuff. I will say there is something really nice about Roll20 and the simple thing, and almost every single kind of VTT has this. I mean, I just am more familiar with Roll20, is just the DM layer in
Yeah.
general to be able to put a straight up X on the map and be like, traps right here, and only you can see it. Like, that's so nice. Not
Yeah.
to mention, you could get more intense with both like Foundry and Roll20 and whatever, where you do the
You can
lighting
actually set up.
systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor and I don't really bother with that a ton because we have imaginations. It's crazy. But sorry, no offense. I think they're great. I
Yeah.
genuinely do. Like as a player who uses Foundry for Pathfinder, like it is
Hmm.
awesome at times. I just like there are times for home games where Taylor and I are we treat it so much more loosely than we do like our actual plays where like I kind of
Yeah.
want to be able to like chill on the couch and just like headphones on, be like, yeah, oh, I rolled a 16. Shit, fuck yeah, fuck this
Yeah.
guy. Like I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of want to
Yeah.
chill. But
I
anyway,
mean, yeah, because I mean, I'm still having fun doing the actual play stuff, but I am stuck in this chair for
it's
three to
just a
five
little different.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about it. And so when for the home games, I go to my wireless headset, and I can get up and walk around the house, do whatever I want to do, go lay
Hmm.
out somewhere, and just keep my dice with me. I have a little dice container that has my most essential dice with it in it, and I'll carry that one around with me if I'm
Oh
around the
yeah.
house. But yeah.
Sometimes I will use a dice app on my phone if I'm
Mm-hmm.
like downstairs like refilling water when a dice
Yeah.
roll thing comes up. I'll just be like, hold on. 16. But so let's go over some of these example
Sure.
traps from the DMG here. I will kick us off with a classic, the collapsing roof.
Yeah.
Almost every single one of these that we're going to go over is as written set up for levels 1 through 4.
Okay.
However, every single one of them has ways to make it suitable for higher levels by upping
Okay.
the severity.
Gotcha.
99.9% of the time, it's a higher DC and more
Hmm.
damage. And it's as simple as
The
that. So
same
I
exact
didn't
trap,
go
right?
over it for everyone. I didn't,
Right.
in the book, it'll say like, if they're levels 14 through 15, the DC is I'm not going to, because
Yeah.
what? So I'm just going to go over the basics that we have here for all of them as written. There's one that's like set up for levels 11 and up from the get go, but
Hmm.
most of them you could do it for level 1 and it would be fine.
Yeah.
But this is a deadly trap, the collapsing roof, right? We're not trying to just like, I mean, I suppose there's a way you could make this less deadly and therefore a nuisance where it's like a trigger to close off a hallway. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like an intentional cave in kind of situation.
Right.
But this is meant to be a deadly trap. The trigger is you're crossing a tripwire. It
Hmm.
is an instantaneous duration, so it instantly happens when you hit that tripwire. The
Okay.
tripwire is 3 inches off the ground and stretches between two weak supports that topple when triggered, and the ceiling collapses. It is a DC 13 dexterity save. Otherwise, you take 2d10 bludgeoning damage, half on a success. So for
Hmm.
level 1, that's pretty fucking deadly. 2d10. Obviously, you can roll bad, but holy shit, right?
Yeah.
That's wild. Um, I think a wizard, if they had a +5 in Constitution, it would be 11 hit points because it would be a D6 maxed.
And that's
6
still,
plus 5 is 11,
yeah,
and you could
yeah,
easily hit that with 2d10. That's a wizard,
yeah.
but still, that's nuts. Now you take half on a success. It is also a DC 11 perception check to find it. I thought it was interesting that the numbers are different. That's just a personal choice. I don't do that because it's easier for me to remember things if I just make them the same. But
Right.
just like the trap is a 13. So then anything associated with the trap is a 13. And that makes it so much easier for me, especially in case a player brings up an idea that I didn't think of. Like, you know what I mean? Can I push the thing the other way? I didn't even think you would try that. Sure, it's an athletics check, DC 13, because everything else is a 13. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then you can also, this is an interesting thing. So it's a DC 11 perception check to find it, right? So as soon as the players ask for a perception check, or me as the DM offer up a perception check, voluntarily, either way, as soon as they hit an 11, they're done with the trap, because all they need to do, according to the book, is simply cut the tripwire with a pair of scissors or whatever, or just step over it.
Step over it, yeah.
Which is really funny because it's like, of course that is true and that makes sense to me, but doesn't it feel slightly anticlimactic? There's something about it in my brain where I'm like, yeah, of course that makes sense. Like, that's what would happen if they find the trap. They should be able to avoid the trap. It's just so interesting to me because usually if you find a trap on the door, you can't just be like, avoid. It's like, you have to disarm it. This is like, cutting the wire takes no check. It's just cutting a wire. So it's like, yeah, no problem. It's just, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It just is, there's something in my brain that's like,
I have seen very fun sequences done by other DMs where they will have like a guide to go through a tunnel to like the MacGuffin. And then they go get the MacGuffin, and then the guy dies, and then they have to find their way back out with no guide.
Oh, yeah.
So now they have to navigate all of these traps and figure them out. They know that there's traps, and they know what the traps are, but they still have to navigate the actual disarming or avoiding the traps themselves.
That is really fun. That is a fun idea. You also, I thought you were going to go in a slightly more nefarious thing.
Me? Never.
Don't worry, I'll do it. What you could do, gang, is you use that guide NPC and you run them into the tripwire. Anyway, let's move on. You want to do our next
one? That's actually really funny though. I'm just thinking about this. Like, okay, yeah. 200 gold. I'll guide you into this thing. Cool. All right, I'm on it. Immediately steps on a pressure plate, peppered with darts, drops to the ground dead.
As his foot goes down too, he goes, "That's new. That wasn't there."
There you go. There's a free goof for you, gang. You use that however you want.
So funny. You can also use, there's a line in Muppets Christmas Carol in the very beginning. I think about it all the time. When Gonzo is talking to Rizzo and he's going, "I know this story so well." And he's like, "No, you don't." He goes, "I know this story like I know the back of my hand." He goes, "Prove it." He goes, "All right, fine. There's a mole on the back of my..." No, not the back of your hand. The story. Tell me the story. And then he like looks at it. I think he looks at his hand and then he's like, "What the hell is that? Where did that come from?" That's so funny. But
yeah.
Okay.
All
right, yeah.
Next trap. We're looking at the falling net. It's another tripwire trap. Instantaneous. It's a 10-foot square net that's been hung up. It's got a tripwire 3 inches off the ground between 2 trees or whatever. And it's a DC 10 dexterity save, or they get restrained until they get out of it. It's an athletics check, another DC 10 to get out of it. And then huge or larger creatures auto succeed on it because it's just a big, too small for them. The net doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Although anybody who's seen Kung Pao knows that the power of a tiny net, and it's good though. Um,
And this is a nuisance. This
it's
one.
another nuisance. Yeah, this one, or not another nuisance. This one is just literally, it doesn't really do any damage. It just kind of tangles you up a bit.
Yeah.
It's a DC 11 perception check to find it. Same deal as the other tripwire trap where you just either cut the wire or avoid it. Um, you can also destroy the net if you'd like. Um, it's fine. You can set up the trap yourself. It's a sleight of hand DC 13, and you have to use thieves tools, and it takes 10 minutes to set up. And then basically just the net gets sturdier and stronger as it goes up in level. The higher save DCs at higher levels just kind of, you know, that's basically it. It's still going to be, you know, a dexterity save or an athletics check or something like that to get out of it. It's just the DC gets higher.
Yeah. This is one of those ones where like this only makes sense if there's like an ambush gonna happen right after, or if like
Mhm.
archers are waiting or something. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, you gotta flip this around a little bit and have it be like a snare kind of situation
Yeah.
where they're up in the tree. Otherwise, this is silly. She's like, cut my way out. All right. That was annoying. And then you just move on. And it's like, that's stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like what I would do is assuming I wanted to use this type of situation, I wanted there to be a falling net.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right, make a dexterity saving throw. Oh, I failed. A net falls down. Everybody roll for initiative. That's how it's happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Mm-hmm.
it exciting.
Yeah.
Because then one person, whoever it is at least starting the combat being restrained. Then they have to
Right.
use their action to do with the athletics check. Now it is
Mhm.
way heavier, figuratively speaking.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do every time I think of a net, tell me if this is fucking bonkers because I know it is. There's a Mortal Kombat character called Cyrax. You're familiar, yellow robot ninja.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has an acid net.
Mm-hmm.
What if it fell? A falling acid net. Think about it.
I mean, it would suck.
It would suck. I
It would
honestly, I
suck.
think it would be a really cool idea for a spell. Melf's acid arrow,
Okay.
Cyrax's acid net.
Yeah.
I'm only half kidding, Taylor. We could
You open
easily
up your
create an
chest.
awesome PDF where we do an entire
All of
collection of homebrew
Mortal
spells
Mortal
from Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat.
Yeah.
I've
We could
already
too,
I
actually,
already have a
honestly.
list of like 20 just by myself. So like if you once you get in there, then we'll have 45 different random ass like Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat
that sounds
based spells.
rad. That sounds rad as hell. That sounds like a lot of
Because
fun.
you can get as like
We could play Mortal Kombat.
into the game. We also could play Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. Cabal is one of my favorite characters.
Mm.
Okay. After the
Smoke.
falling net, sick. We have the fire casting statue. This is the one.
Oh, you had another cool one.
This is the one. No. Your next one is even
Okay.
cooler.
I see
The
what
fire
it is.
casting statue is deadly. It
Mhm.
is we're levels 1 through 4. The trigger is that you move onto a pressure plate.
Mhm.
It's an instantaneous duration, and then the trap starts at the start of the next turn. So here's the interesting thing here. Remember this is what I was thinking when I was doing some of this research.
Mhm.
Remember in Baldur's Gate 3 when you would kind of set off a trigger of something like that, like the poison gas and some of those traps,
Mhm.
it would
Yeah.
immediately start initiative. It would start ticking it down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? And then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
to go into like the options and like turn that off and be like, I'm just gonna sprint through. I don't need to be an
Right.
initiative
Right.
for
Right.
this. And I've done that so many times where I'm like, I don't fucking care about this. I'm running through. I got another hit points. I'm fine.
What's 4d6? Let's
Yeah, who
go.
cares? But so that's what my brain goes here when it's this idea of like they set it as soon as they stand on the pressure plate, fire comes out, but then after that, fire's gonna keep coming out in spurts. Those spurts happen
Right.
at the start of each round. therefore you need to have rounds because that's 6 seconds. So it's
Right.
like the only way to really accurately get that down is to be in initiative order. So this is one of
Yeah.
those ones where it is truly like a roll for initiative type of situation.
Mhm.
If you wanted to handle it as accurately as possible, unless you wanted it to just be a one and done. And then
Mhm.
okay, just don't step on that pressure plate ever again and you're fine. I mean, that's one way to do it, but this makes it a little bit more deadly, which is what I'm assuming the
Right.
creators of the trap, not the writers, wizards, but like this fire
Yeah.
casting statue, what they
Right.
would like to do is kill
Yeah.
people trying to get into their
Right.
shit. So yeah, when a creature and this is even in the description, it sets it up for initiative order, but this is makes
Mhm.
it even crazier. When a creature starts its turn on the pressure plate or moves to it on their turn, the statue breathes a 15-foot cone of fire, DC 15 dex save, 2d10 fire damage, half on a success. So yeah, it's like
This would be an interesting thing for a enemy that can teleport, like a combat
mm,
in a room with an enemy that can
oh, I
teleport.
see.
So you have pressure plates around the room while they're fighting. He keeps teleporting. You chase after him, and oh, one of the squares you stepped on that's got a pressure. It's got a fire thing on it. Make a dexterity check.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, that is really funny and interesting.
it would
Now,
be like the one and only time I would want to use find traps as
mm,
not a ritual spell.
yeah, exactly. A spell no one takes.
Yeah.
Almost no one takes. Okay, so if a player uses detect magic, it will show the statue as having evocation magic. That makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
DC 10 perception check, and you can find a tiny glyph on the statue. Now, with a 15 arcana, you can understand the glyph. It stands for fire, something like that.
Right.
With a DC 15 perception, you can actually find the pressure plate itself.
Okay.
Now, anytime that there's a pressure plate, similarly like to any time that there's a tripwire and it says you can cut this or avoid it, anytime that there's a pressure plate, they do give you an option. I may have forgotten to write it in here, but they do always give you an option of like somebody could take a dagger or something like that and like jam the pressure plate so that it can't go down.
Right.
I don't think I wrote it in the outline, but technically that there you can break the pressure plate essentially.
Right.
But the other thing that I thought was really interesting here, and I just wanted to bring up, is you can use sharp tools to deface the glyph, and that will disarm it. The only reason that that kind of freaks me out a little bit as a DM is I think it undermines glyphs a little bit, and it makes it feel like they're just like obviously you have to find it first and then whatever, but then if it's like any time that you use a rune or a glyph in a dungeon or anything, that anytime they see one, if they get any hinky feelings about it, they can just take a unmagical dagger and just run a line through it and be like, all right, don't have to worry about that. And you're like, what? I don't love it. I'm not saying that
I
I don't see the logic in it. Like of course I do, because you're breaking the thing. Like, of
Mhm.
course. But like, for example, we
I
were playing
think
Pathfinder with Lance and there was a ritual going on, and Lance had mentioned chalk on the ground. The
mhm.
DM part of my brain was like, I'm not gonna just like go over and be like, oh, I use my foot and I rub the chalk line out. But like, if it's chalk, I should be able to just break it. And if the ritual cares about
Right.
that, it should die. But
Right.
how many actions is it to kick fucking chalk and ruin an entire ritual? Like as a DM, that's why I didn't even bring it up, because as a DM, I'm like, oh, it feels like it's such an easy and low cost action to take care of something that could be so dangerous. And so it doesn't feel like they match in the same way.
Mhm.
Like when you have to use your thieves tools and disarm a trap and you have to hit this DC, and then if you fuck it up, the trap explode. Those both feel like equal things where I'm like, yeah, that fits. This is like,
Right.
here's this cool trap. Nope, that's gone. What? I don't love it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 I agree. I think
You're the Lorax for the players, so I get it. You
I am
speak for
the
the
I am
players.
I do. I speak for the plants and being the players. Um No, I get what you're saying, but also I think with it being like a level 1 trap, I feel like that has something to play into it as far as the disarming of said trap. Um, Once we get into some of the higher level stuff, maybe that's not acceptable. Like a glyphs and wards like spell, I wouldn't allow you to just show up and run a regular knife through it and break it. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah. No, I know. I'm thinking of like there have been times where like a glyph has been so important. And like
Right.
I've seen sometimes in some actual plays, I think even Critical Role, where like they at the very least had to cast Dispel Magic to
Right.
undo a glyph of warding or something like
Hmm.
that, you know? And so I think you're right. I think it depends on the level of the players, the level of the how intense you want this trap to be. Like who created
Hmm.
the trap? Back to that question.
Yep.
If Vecna creates a fucking glyph, I'm not having Joe Schmo the farmer fucking go
Hold
with
on.
their trowel. Yeah, get out of here, mom. All right, you want
Get
to,
out of
and
here,
then
mom.
it goes without saying, but at higher levels, more damage, more DC.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I got another nuisance trap.
Hey yo,
The Hidden Pit, dusting off a classic. Yeah, so this is just the trigger is the creature moves onto the pot's lid or the pit's lid. It said the pot. I don't know why it says pot. It definitely says pit in the outline. I'm
if
just
you're
dumb.
not shit, get off the butt.
If you're not shitting, get off the pit. All right.
Love that show.
Instantaneous duration. It's a 10-foot deep pit hidden by a hinged top, made of the same material as the surrounding floor. The lid pops open when somebody steps on it, and it remains open. A creature who falls deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage. Obvious 10 feet dropping. Um, DC 15 investigation check to find the lid of the pit. You can use an object to wedge the lid shut, or you can use some kind of magic like arcane lock that will cause it to stay locked.
I thought that
Um,
was interesting. I was like,
yeah,
oh, that is a good use of that
that makes
spell.
sense.
I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, might need to take that
Um,
spell.
nah,
Do
go,
something.
go.
I would do something crazy with it,
Yeah.
dude. Man.
Um, but yeah, so a creature would need something like climb speed, climbing gear, or like spider climb to get out of the walls because they're so smooth. Higher levels, that would mean a deeper pit, more falling damage, basically.
Hmm.
So, level 6 through 10, it's 30 feet now,
Pretty
20
much.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, I will say that there is later on in the book, they also have
Hmm.
a spiked pit
Oh, yeah.
where it's literally everything is exactly the same as this, except
Hmm.
now it's deadly instead of a nuisance because there's spikes and it does like more damage.
Yeah, naturally.
But
Falling on spikes is bad.
now this is an interesting one because this one is very easy to change around to make your own.
Hmm.
One of my favorite things to do with a pit of this exact size, 10 foot deep, hopefully 10 feet across. We're talking a
Hmm.
10-foot cube. You know what else is a 10-foot cube? A gelatinous cube.
Gelatinous cube. Yeah.
You put a gelatinous cube inside of a pit like this so that when the doors, maybe the doors have to open a different way because obviously if they open like this, then they're gonna immediately hit the cube.
Dissolve to nothing.
Or this is what I've done in the past. You guys with your fucking mage hands getting past it is there's a pit, 10-foot
Uh-huh.
cube pit, boom, players fall inside. Hopefully they won't, but maybe they will.
They won't.
They fall inside. Then a hatch in the roof opens, gelatinous cube fits perfectly in there. The players are now inside of a gelatinous cube, burning alive. Good luck. Roll for initiative. I think that's really fun. But all
Yeah.
jokes aside, you could also put a million other things in there. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You could also have it be one of those chutes, like a chute that brings them to a totally different fucking part of the dungeon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like a laundry chute kind of thing. Dumb waiter. Stupid fucking waiter. Drive up.
Stupid
Hello,
waiter.
sir. I'm here. I've brought your cake. I've brought your vanilla ice cream that you enjoy. I'm a dumb waiter. Okay. Next. Next is poisoned darts, absolute freaking classic here.
Mhm.
This is a deadly trap, levels 1 through 4. The trigger, pressure plate. That's an easy thing to change too. You change what the trigger is.
Yeah.
Keep everything else the same. Change what the trigger is. Maybe change the duration somehow. There's like some easy things you can update here. I have a little idea at the end. So like, it's a pressure plate. The duration is instantaneous. The trap resets at the start of the next turn, and it can do that for 3 rounds, and then eventually it'll run out of darts. Right?
Yeah.
Because like there's like a tube on the inside, and the dart is there and shoots through, but like it's not. It's a limited magazine, you know,
Right,
like,
right,
unless it's
right.
magical, and then you could, fucking whatever. Because you could also just do this exact same thing and be like, but they're fire bolts, but they're chill touches. Now they can't
Yeah.
heal. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? But also,
Who cares?
anytime you use magic, then detect magic is gonna fuck you, because there's some players
Yeah.
that spam that spell in a way that I don't think is fun, but that's my personal feelings. Anyway, the creature steps under that pressure plate, and poison darts begin firing out of the tubes hidden in the walls by dust, cobwebs, or murals, frescoes, which I had to look up. Don't be discouraged.
Just a painting, right?
It's kind of just a painting. It's just a wall decoration and decorative designs and shit. So just stuff on walls. Anyway, it's a DC 13 deck save, or you get hit by 1d3 darts. I like that little tiny mechanic there. The idea that it's not just 1 dart, it could be 3 darts. I like that.
Right.
That makes sense. And I think it's fun. Each dart is 1d6 poison damage. Now, DC 15 perception check, and you can find the holes. Plug them up. Problem solved. DC 15 perception check. Find the pressure plate. Wedge something in there. Fuck it up. Or step over it.
Just don't step on it.
Don't step on that freaking thing.
I would make abnormally large pressure plates just for this reason.
Huge pressure plates. Yeah, no doubt. Now,
this whole pressure plate is 40 foot by 40 foot. No, you're not jumping over it. Deal with the trap, damn it.
I get on my broom. So then here's my idea, because it's interesting to me that they don't even mention this in the books. Same with the next one that you're about to go over. But like, you also could either something a little more simple, but still more complex than this, throw in another constitution save, and then maybe they're poisoned for a little bit because of the poison darts, you know? And then also you could add a more interesting condition. Maybe it's a sleeping dart, like freaking Ace Ventura. No, it's When Nature Calls.
When Nature Calls
is the one where he's just like, and his arms are flipping around, and he's like this. Oh, you're doing that. Yeah. That's during the fight scene.
No. You're talking about when he's running down the thing.
And the hunters are getting him, and his arms are just, and he's going.
Yeah.
I love that scene. It's so
that
funny.
scene is so good. That whole movie is so funny.
It is funny, but there are man. It is not. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Bring us on home, Taylor. Bring us through this next one. I think there's only one more after that.
Okay. So the next one is the poisoned needle trap. This one's a nuisance. The trigger is a creature opens a trap's lock improperly or fails to disarm the trap. It's an instantaneous duration. There's a poison needle hidden inside the lock. If you try to open the lock with anything other than the proper key, a needle pops out, jabs you. DC 11 Constitution save, or you become poisoned and take 1d10 poison damage. Half damage on success. Success. You can avoid the trap by using knock or similar magic, such as like maybe mage hand or something like that. Anything to basically not put your hand next to the lock when you're trying to open it.
Luckily, most of the time, only an arcane trickster is going to use a mage hand to pick a lock.
Unless you have like a key. Like what I'm thinking of is like if you're using just like a key to try it, and it might not be the like. It says
true.
wrong key. So like maybe there's like a the like guard captain has a key, and then his like lieutenant has a key to the same chest, but that one's actually like trapped. So it's like you stick your thing, turn it in like you're gonna do it, and then poison,
Yeah.
cut it off, cut
I
it
shot the
off.
sheriff.
Yeah, so any kind of anything that you can do to get the lock open without being yourself next to it. DC 15 perception check to notice the needle in the lock. And then it's an additional or another DC 15 sleight of hand check to disarm it. And then obviously at higher levels, more damage and the higher DC. Which 15 at level 1 is pretty rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty tough trap to get over at level 1.
Pretty tough. But moving on, our next trap example is a classic. Indiana Jones. I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's a small part of me that because it's been this long, same with Home Alone. It's been so long, and every time I tell somebody and they're like, "What?" I'm like, I want to keep that feeling going forever now. Now I'm never gonna watch those movies because I love this. I love telling people and them going, "No
Home
way,
Alone
you
is
got
my
to."
favorite Christmas movie. I
Never
love it
seen
so much. That's so crazy to me.
I know. And I did a whole
I'm
fucking
gonna
actual play
Clockwork
kind of
Orange
based
you
on
one
it.
night. Yeah, we're gonna strap you down and put the little things.
I refuse.
We're gonna watch all 3 of the Home Alone movies, even though the third one not my favorite.
I've seen parts of the third one.
Yeah.
Now, because it's the same little kid from
And also all of the Indiana Jones.
Liar.
All of the Indiana Jones movies,
Okay.
including Crystal Skull.
No chance. No chance.
Crystal Skull.
I
We're
will
gonna start
only
with that.
maybe watch the one with Phoebe Waller-Bridge in it because I love her, even though I heard that movie was crazy. Okay, so we have the Rolling Stone, not Mick Jagger, not Mick Jagger. Satisfaction, like fucking the way he dances is so crazy. It's like
just coming down, all like
it's just Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. Just your bones cracking.
Rolling Stones.
God, dude. No. And I want to paint it black. So the trigger is a pressure plate. The duration until it stops rolling.
Naturally.
So it is a 5-foot radius orb of solid stone. So 10-foot diameter is released when the pressure plate is stepped on and it begins to roll. The stone receives a +8 and everybody must roll for initiative. On its turn, the stone moves 60 feet in one direction unless it's redirected by an object. The stone can move through creature spaces whenever it enters a creature's space for the first time on a turn, or a creature enters the stone space while the stone is rolling that creature, while the stone is rolling, that creature must succeed on a DC 15 dex save, or they take 10d10 bludgeoning damage and have the prone condition.
God damn.
I think I may have forgotten at the very top of this one to mention that this is for levels 11 through 16. This is considered a deadly trap.
Okay.
For levels 17 through 20, it is considered a nuisance trap.
Okay.
Now, the stone will stop.
I was thinking about my
10d10.
Blow that. I just blow the rock up.
Well, we're going to go over the hit points and stuff like that. It might be slightly harder than you think, or it would be a big resource drain. So, because you might have to use like a channel divinity to get, if you wanted to get it in one shot, you'd have to use a channel divinity. And for those listening who are unaware, number one, on the bonus action episodes, we go over our home campaign where you'll learn all about Taylor's incredible triple multi-class character named Kaladin Stormblessed that he invented, I think. And also, take that, Brandon Sotomayor. What's your name? What's his name? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know his name.
Oh man, that's so funny. We just triggered like a huge portion of our base.
Brandon Sandon, I got him. But if people can say Mark Mercer, why can't I say that? I think that's
Yeah, no,
so
you're
funny.
good. Hey,
Sotomayor was a weird name to pull from, though. I
yeah.
just knew that it was an S. Okay. So the stone will stop when it hits a wall or a similar barrier. It can't go around corners because, it can't turn.
Mhm.
But there are creative dungeon builders who create curving turns into nearby passageways
I
so
was
that it
thinking
can
about
keep
that.
going. Now, it is a DC 15 investigation check to figure out that the pressure plate not only is there, but like what it does.
Hmm.
Because you would find the pressure plate and be like, there's something here. But then you'd be like, okay, there's no holes in the wall. So it's not darts. It's not this. There's no statues. Like, what the fuck is it? And then you would notice like the ceiling maybe or something, wherever the
Hmm.
orb comes out of. Now, the stone has 100 hit points. It has an AC of 17 and it has a damage threshold of 10.
Jeez, 100 hit points. That's a lot of nuts.
That's a lot of clams, dude. So, yeah, it's beefy boy.
I'd be hard pressed to do that because if I come near it while it's rolling, I get hurt.
Yeah. You know what the thing is though,
So,
depending on I'm thinking of art that your very specific adventuring party.
uh-huh.
Sunny has an ability to do wall of stone and it would instantly end it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the crazy thing is like that's a hyper specific spell though. Obviously there are other spells that are similar. There's a 6th level spell called Pillars of the Earth. One of the
Right.
coolest named spells and one of the dumbest spells in the game because it's just you make pillars rise up from the ground. So indoors it's actually an awesome spell because you're just
Right.
crushing people against ceilings. But like or it's called like Bones of the Earth, I think.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Right.
such a cool sounding. Anyway, that could help a lot here. So could
Hmm.
Wall of Stone, Wall of Thorns, even I would allow kind of. That's a 6th level fucking spell. Yeah, so it's stuff like that. Wall of Force, obviously.
Right.
Globe of Invulnerability.
Pretty much
No,
anything
no.
that'd
There's
reduce
other
the
ones.
speed to
Odalukes,
0.
Resilient Sphere. Yeah, different stuff like that, time stop. Blow a ninth. Wish. Hey, wish that fucking ball wasn't there. Wish that was Mick Jagger. Uh
The stone splits up into 4 and they start doing a concert.
Hell yeah, dude. I want to paint it black. I love that song. The other thing you can do with this stone is for a DC 20 athletics check, you can slow the stone down by 15 feet. So you have to do this 4 times
God.
because you do it once and it slows down from 60 to 45. Then you do it
Mhm.
again and again and again. So you have to do it a bunch of times until it goes all the way down from 60 to 0. Because if you get it all the way to 0, then it stops.
Right. Okay, gang. So I'm going to need y'all to go ahead and send me some ideas on how to stop one of these things because I have a feeling Justin's going to throw one of these at our home game. Most creative one gets a attaboy on our next on our next podcast.
Yeah, sure. Well, gang, you know what time it is.
Mhm.
It is time for this episode's sponsor. Gang, as I look around my desk quickly to be like, what is it gonna fucking be? It's going to be these cat treats. Temptations.
Temptations. Yeah.
These cat
D'Artagnan is
treat.
also a fiend for those.
Yeah, she loves this shit, man. I'll tell you what.
He's a chicken boy.
And
What is
it's
that?
under
What flavor
2
is that?
calories per treat. This
Yeah.
is seafood medley.
Seafood? Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
seafood medley is what we're working with here.
Yeah.
You see what we got going on here? Thank you so much, Temptations. Listen, when I think of the Temptations, I think of 2 things. I think of cat treats, and I think of my girl, my girl, my girl.
Okay, and that's all we can get into this time before we get demonetized. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at So You Want to Be a DM, or you can ask us a question at soyouwantobeadm@gmail.com. If you like the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars and a review wherever you found us, and check out the Patreon, the Twitch, and our merch with the link in the description. And join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye.
See ya!
Hey gang, it's Justin. I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Nub Muffins, may Palor's light shine upon you. Marsavies, have you watered your flesh prison lately? Yazvi, the eternal library where color and community await you. Molly Adeza, who gets yet another level up. And there's Elijah, Tappy, and Linguini. Gang, we appreciate and love you. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Wanna Be a DM.